Hey, welcome everybody to Top of the Stack. My name's Chester Elton. Pleased to be with you today. It's so interesting. Like a lot of you, I just love a good book. And if you're like me, you tend to buy more books than you can possibly read. And you've got a stack of them right next to your bed or on your desk. And you think, well, what should I put at the top of the stack? Right. So that's why I call this show the Top of the Stack. And we're just going to take 10, maybe 12 minutes and talk about books that I've read that have meant a lot to me, and hopefully a tip for you on a book that might put something at the top of your stack as well. So let me tell you a little bit about the author first. Her name is Ayşe Birsel. She lives in New York City. She's a wonderful designer who grew up in Istanbul and did a lot of work in France and a lot of work here in the United States as well. She does a lot of design work for Herman Miller, if you're familiar with the office furniture and so on. Over and above all that, she is just a delightful person. She loves to give back. She's a really dear and faithful friend. If you become friends with Ayşe, that is a gift. Well, I met Ayşe, gosh, 7 or 8 years ago now, at a conference in San Diego. No, I'm sorry, it was Phoenix. She and I were presenting at this leadership conference, and she presented on her first book called Design the Life You Love. And it's a wonderful book. It's a workbook. And I went through her workshop with it. And Ayşe is a designer. So she took her design skills and applied it to life, which is really wonderful. She talks about you take what you have and you deconstruct it from what it is. And then you reconstruct it into what you want it to be. And she walks you through these various steps on construction and deconstruction. So this was the first book that introduced me to Ayşe, and as I got to know her at the conference. It was literally life-changing for me. And one of the reasons I wanted to highlight her work is it really makes you step back and say, okay, so I say things are important in my life. Do I design my life around the things that really matter most to me? And I'll give you a quick example. So I'm happily married. We're going to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary this year. And people say, what's the most important thing in your life? You say, well, it's my family. It's my wife. It's my kids. And now we have 3 adorable grandchildren, right? And then you say, well, do you design your day, your week, your month, your year around making them the most important part of your life? And so often we say it, we don't really take the time to design it. If you're following, right? So one of the things we decided to do after going through Ayşe's session, and I took my wife through one of her workshops, and my youngest son, Garrett, and his new wife, Miley, through it as well, is we said, you know what? Our family is going to be all over the map, right? We've got a child in Dallas. We've got a child in Utah. We've got a child in Iowa. We've got a child in New Jersey. How are we going to bring everybody together? And so we consciously said, well, let's find a place where we can unite every week. So we got a nice little cabin in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. And the first full week in August every year, everybody comes. And it's become quite a tradition. We'll do it for the 4th year in a row now. And everybody knows that first week in August, we'll see at the lake. Again, designing our lives to accommodate that. Well, phase 2, Ayşe's 2 wonderful daughters, and she celebrated her 50th birthday. Now, I'm not aging her. It's in the book. And their second book is Design the Long Life You Love. So her daughter says, congratulations, Mom, you're halfway there. And Ayşe said, wait a minute. And her daughter said, Mom, odds are you're going to live to be 100 years old. So you're only halfway through your life. You've had your great first 50 years. What are you going to do with the next 50 years? Isn't that interesting? So she wrote this, a step-by-step guide to love, purpose, well-being, and friendship. Again, using those design principles. Are you designing a long, happy, and healthy life? So she talks about friendship. She talks about love. She talks about purpose. And the one thing that I really love about her books is they're simple, they're beautifully designed. She introduces you to some of her mentors, one of my mentors as well, Marshall Goldsmith, who's been a huge influence in her life and my life. She draws these wonderful designs about them. I want to get to one more here that's a lot of fun. Shoot, I mean, I messed it up here. Um, um, Give me just 1 second, because I love this guy so much. I want to highlight him. There's Ron. I mean, I'm gonna get it. I had these bookmarked. For example, Michael Bungay Stanier, who's a wonderful executive coach. We highlighted his book last week. The coaching habit. So this long life you love is a wonderful way to step back and say, I'm probably 2/3 of the way through my life, right? What am I going to do with that last third? What am I going to do with the next 20, 30 years? If you're younger and you're 25, you go, I got 75 years in front of me. What am I going to do? It's a wonderful guide. It makes you think. It makes you reflect. And then she gives you the tools to do it. So if you want to do the sequence I did, you can start with design the life you love and then graduate big time to design the long life you love. Aisha Bursell. We've put her website at the bottom. You can get her book on Amazon. You can get them in fine bookstores everywhere. Treat yourself to a wonderful experience on taking that time to step back and say, if these really are the most important things in my life, am I designing my life to fit and to make sure that I've carved out time, resources, talk to my friends, and so on. Highly recommend it. So again, Long Life You Love, Aisha Bursell. Look it up, treat yourself, follow her, join some of her design teas. Well, one of the reasons I wanted to do this book club is say, look, I know of book clubs and they give you like 4 books and nobody can read 4 books. So I want to do just one. I do want to give you a bonus book today. And the reason is you can read it in 15 minutes. Okay. So it's not like I'm not recommending, War and Peace to you. This is one of my favorite books of all time. And I think it should be on everybody's bookshelf. It's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. It's written by Charlie Mackesy. He's a wonderful artist, much like Aisha. The book is beautifully illustrated. It's very simple. It's mostly pen and ink. Those are the most words you're going to find on any page. And it's a delightful story about a little boy who decides to go into the wild. And he's afraid. And he befriends a wise old mole. And they find a fox caught in the snare and they free him from the snare and he joins their little band. And then they befriend a big old gentle horse. And Charlie Mackesy says he's written this children's book for children from the ages of 8 to 80. So I'm pretty sure if you're watching this on the live or replay, you fit that demographic. The messages in it are just so lovely. This is one of my favorite pages in the book. It's the little boy sitting on a branch with the wise old mole. And the mole says to him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the little boy says, kind. If you've got children, it's just a great book. And it's a great messaging. I gifted it to our next door neighbors. They have 2 little kids. And they said at night, sometimes what we do is we take the book and we just open it to a random page and we talk about it. Another part of the book I want to share with you, and then I'll leave it to you. It's not expensive. I think for a while it was on sale on Amazon for like $12. Treat yourself. Is they go through a storm and the little boy's on top of this big gentle horse. And he asks the horse, what's the bravest thing you've ever said? Said the boy. Help, says the horse. And then he says, asking for help isn't giving up, said the horse. It's refusing to give up. So 2 books. I know I promised only one. The second one you can read, Design the Long Life You Love by Aisha Bursell, and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Well, listen, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I hope these books at some point make it to the top of your stack. Aisha's books have been life-changing for me and why I love to support her work. And The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is just one of those feel-good books. By the way, they made an animated movie of it. and it won an Academy Award this year. So look it up on Netflix, wherever you get your movies. Amazon Prime has it as well. I hope this weekend you have a great time, that you design your weekend to focus on the things that really matter to you. And mostly it's going to be the people in your lives, your partner, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your neighbors, your students, the kids you coach, whoever they may be. Because a long, happy, and healthy life really does come down to deep and meaningful relationships. And I Shape Yourself can help you design that life. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Again, have a great weekend, have a great life, and design it to be the life you love. Take care. Be well. Cheers.